Hey, what's up? Silas here. This is another video in my series of Hands Up, Don't Hit. This is the one about spanking and peaceful parenting, just advocating for peaceful parenting. In this one, I'm going to be talking about this book, at least mention this book and asking you guys a question. I bought this audiobook over this Christmas season, this holiday season, to learn more about peaceful parenting and also just to give to my sister and help her in raising my nephew. The title of the book is Peaceful Parent, Happy Kid, How to Stop Yelling and Start Connecting by Dr. Laura Markham. So if you guys have read that book or listened to this book, let me know what you guys think about it. I really liked it. I was listening to it, I just speed listened to it. It's about a 6.5 hour audiobook, put it on 1.5 speed listen to it. And there was some really heavy things into it, both thinking about my own experience as a kid and experiences I've had with other people who've had kids and things that I haven't said, things that I haven't seen. And also just to get this information and just to be really excited about how marvelous that this information is out there in such a palatable way. In its way, the way it's presented is really good. It's straightforward. I think anyone can understand it. Now, the palatable, that's why I'm not understandable. I don't know. Okay, like look at fast food. How fast food is. It's breaking down the calories, it's delivering it in a way that pretty much anyone can at least understand this is food, I can take this, I put this in my mouth, it's not going to make me sick just by ingesting it. But now the taste of it, do people appreciate the quality of it, the content? Fast food may not have been the actual best kind of example, but maybe like a high-end restaurant, how there's always there, but then people have different tastes. People might not have a certain taste for this. But yeah, my experience of listening to this audiobook was, I wish I knew this information before. This information is also seems intuitive. Why would you want to yell at a kid? Why would you want to lie to a kid? Why would you want to mistreat a kid? Why doesn't everyone just parent kids this way? And then it goes back to the thing where I mentioned where it's like, yes, you do understand people are parented in a negative way, and then they try to lessen it out. So understanding how long it's taken for negative parenting, for aggressive parenting, for kids being hit, and coming through all those decades and centuries, and then coming now, we're at the point where the peaceful parenting message is being put out in such a way where it can be accessible to anyone. Pretty much anyone can get this audiobook. It was rather cheap. I think it's something like $10 or something from Audible store. You can just get it, share it with friends, share it with yourself, listen to it yourself. But yes, now on to the question. I think honesty is the best policy, but policy, as many of you know, is something that you aim for, but it's not always practical. It's not always something you're going to follow. Just like talking about the fast food. Sometimes it's like, look, you're eating a diet, you have a certain diet, you're swallowing a certain thing, but then if you're starving, if you have to get some energy, sometimes you just get that Big Mac or you get that fast food and you get that in, and you're like, okay, this may not be the best food to eat. According to my diet, my healthy food is the best policy when it comes to nutrition, but sometimes you get something else. So when it comes to this situation, a friend asked this question that I've asked before, and with this book it reminded me how come I didn't say things before. And with taking on this information like in this book, it's kind of the situation, like I told my friend what I thought about this book was, the more you get this information, the more you know, the more you're in the situation where you feel you have to tell people around you if you see them not doing this, you have to share this information. Or you have to understand that if this person is in your circle, in your influence, you deal with them, you talk to them, you associate with them, but you don't feel comfortable sharing such important information, maybe you need to find a way to get this person out of your circle. And that's an unfortunate thing to say, but I don't know any other way to go about some of these things. That's the question I'm asking you guys. If you are an advocate of peaceful parenting, if you see a situation where a kid is being abused, a kid is being hit, a kid is being yelled at, a kid is being punished, a kid is being aggressed against, what is the policy? What do you do? Do you call somebody? Do you call the authorities that in that area? Like somebody pointed out that sometimes you can call these people and these authorities may be overzealous in their own end. You might get this kid out of, this parent might have been lashing out for that one time. As I've said before, and as it was mentioned in this video, just because you hit a child, just because you yell at a child, doesn't make you a bad person. That could be a one-time thing, that could be a limited thing, but it still is a bad situation. What you did was bad, but you are not a bad person. That's the same thing that happens with the kid. That's what we're trying to, I think that's part of the core of peaceful parenting, is You don't yell at the kid. You don't punish the kid. You don't hit the kid. You don't say you're a bad person to the kid, because the kid isn't being a bad person. If the kid pushes something and breaks it, what they did, the action of breaking that thing, is not positive. But the kid himself, the kid herself, is not bad because of that. So this is the thing that I'm saying. When you see this bad situation happen, you see a bad thing happen, what do you as a bystander do? Now, personally, as I said, people in my circle, people who I consider friends, if they peacefully parent, I think in general, if you just get these core things into your life, the non-aggression principle, and you start living by these things, and you start talking about them like I'm doing, I think you start attracting people who are in that same kind of vicinity. And most of the parents I know that I can think of do parent peacefully. I know a few who, this is now the challenge that's coming to me now. How do I present this information to them? If I see it in person, definitely what do I do? I'm thinking about the honesty is the best policy thing. Do you just come out and tell them? Are they ready to hear that information? Do you have to package that information in a certain way? Who do you talk to about this? Is it worth it? Like, let's say, unfortunately, this hasn't happened often. The last time I saw this was, I think the last time I was back in Kenya, it was about a year ago. I was in a grocery store and I saw a parent hitting their child in the grocery store, and I paused and I didn't know, should I go over and say something? Because you might be that first person that kid has ever seen stand up for them. So is it worth it in that situation, even if you do that, and then if there's no recourse, or you can't really remove the child from that, the parent might go home and then take it out even more on that kid. So what do you do in those situations? What do you guys suggest? I personally, I'm at the point, I've thought about this over a day. The friend asked it 2 days ago, and I finished listening to this audiobook about a week back. And I think about honesty is the best policy. At least never reinforce that behavior. If it's somebody close to you in your life, if it's your parents, if it's relatives, if it's friends and things like that, then never actually say, if it comes up in discussion, plead the fifth or something. Just don't say anything if you're not going to say something against it, but never reinforce it. Never just be like, oh, brush it off, like, oh, that was nothing. If somebody says, okay, this happened, or if they're explaining to something, don't smile, don't laugh, don't wave it off. You can even just come out and say, okay, look, I'm not quite comfortable talking about that, I disagree with it, or just be quiet, try to move on from it. I don't know what to do. You guys let me know. What do you guys think about that situation? And I'll leave links below to this book. You can definitely check it out. I highly suggest if you haven't. Also, you guys can suggest other books to me and other people. I mean, to me, books and sources for peaceful parenting that you have found are useful to your life. I'm going to do a better job of collecting these together and kind of putting, not a database, but just a library of sorts of saying, okay, these are the sources that I found useful and that people I know have found useful. So that can also be something that I can refer people to. So instead of just having that entire conversation at that point, maybe I can just have a card. I don't know, I might start doing that. Just have a card and say, okay, look here, handsupdon'thit.com or something. Here's the card, here's the source of the things. That could be a positive thing. Let me know what you guys think about that. As I said, there's a contact. You can contact me at handsupdon'thit@carbon33.com. That's a contact for the peaceful parenting stuff that I'm doing. Links below to the merchandise store. I got some shirts with the Hands Up Don't Hit thing. Let me know sources that have helped you, and also answers to this question, please. I think this would be a very important question if you guys can answer and let me know what you guys have done from your experience. I know I've had some struggles doing it, and I want to get better at that. Like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.